So Yahweh by Hashem Shai double honor to the elders and apostles of Jim well shalom to the hopeful elect. And they've been doing this thing called Insulate Britain, where they've basically been staging quote unquote peaceful protests and stopping people from going about their daily business. And I just want to show a few videos to try and put it in context.
Yeah, I think so. No, come on.
And if you notice, a lot of them are the protesters are of a mature nature. Properly retired and that, you know. Look at this Edomite on Edomite violence.
Between the drivers, one of them grabbing and dragging at protesters, the shouting, the screams. It's actually turning a little bit violent here, to be honest. Still no sign of police, Nick.
I would like to say I find it interesting that you can walk down the street and see a policeman, but you never walk down the street and see a news reporter, but somehow the news reporter has got there before the police. That's very interesting.
Well, actually, it's quite interesting because just before they started here, there were a group of 20 of them having almost a powwow, a circle. I'm watching Nick, because again, it's literally scraps. They are picking up protesters one by one and dragging them, and I think they've managed to free up one lorry. But there were a group of around 20 of them who gathered. They turned up on 2 different buses trying to be subtle about it. They waited around 10 minutes by the side of the road before stepping forward, and actually a highways England van drove past and didn't see them. Still no sign of any police here. Really testy, Nick. There's a group of around 5 or maybe 6 drivers who keep running forwards one by one and picking up the protesters and physically dragging them. And that lorry that I mentioned earlier, it's managed to move forward around maybe 5-10 metres or so. There was a woman in front of it. A man has just picked her up. The drivers and that lorry that I mentioned,
you know, this lorry here.
Earlier, it's managed to move forward around maybe 5-10
That lorry
metres.
right there, that's blatantly carrying petrol. You know what I mean? And there's meant to be a petrol crisis. So anyone who's watching this, they're looking at these people actually slot, because there's still kind of a petrol crisis. There is still a petrol crisis in the UK. So these people are just making it seem as if they're exasperating whatever problems are in the UK. And then you get this.
Your daughter is late to school.
Indoctrination
You are
camp.
messing with children's education because you are selfish. Yeah, I hope you get that on camera.
I did. What do you think about them?
What, these?
Yeah.
I think it's great. Absolutely great.
Now you notice how nice they're being to them. You know if there was Jake, they would have beat their ass and the rest of them by now. But look how nice they're treating him. Ooh, for the most part, pretty dignified. He got flung to the side, but he still ain't got arrested. If that was Jake, would have been in the back of the paddy wagon by now. Mama glued himself to the road, you know. Wearing his goggles like some idiot. You gotta think they're taking away resources from situations that could possibly use them, or slowing down the response time. People are so dumb, man.
My son is 11, he needs to get to school today. So move out of the way and let me get my son to school. I'll try to get it. Yeah.
Well, that's enough of that. Just show this one
Talk to me
here.
about how you.
Hang on.
Yeah, I think so. Talk to me about how you feel and the impact this has had on you today.
I've lost my job interview because of these lot, yeah.
What was your job interview for?
For a skip driver.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
HGV driver, so I'm HGV. Just shortage of HGV.
Yeah, you notice he said HGV because there's a HGV crisis. So he's trying to insinuate that these people are partly responsible for the HGV crisis, which is nonsense. There's Brexit, all other different types of reasons.
Please, look at this lot. None of them work. They're all retired.
And you had an interview this morning.
I've lost it. I've been told I've lost it because I'm too late because of these.
And you lost the job.
Yeah, I'm an hour late.
And you gotta think, how could you lose a job if you explain to them the situation? Surely they'd be sympathetic. But
Because of this
okay.
lot.
What does that mean for
There's
you
a
and how are you
possibility
feeling?
I've got 2 young children.
with his old ass, man, too old to be having kids. And this guy wrote the caption quote: "I've been told that Insulate Britain have been paid by the government to cause mayhem, and then in turn, when the government implement new legislation, we will all support it." Let's just read through a few of the comments because I found some of them interesting. He's too calm. I'd be cussing out. I know you gotta control your emotions and that, but that was probably a big opportunity to him. And watching people play with your opportunity is worse than heartbreak. That's a fair point. And this guy, Edomite, of course, Aaron Gear, and wants to build theories on conjecture and hearsay. See, these are the same people who be saying, they'll watch proof of people having bug outs and Harlem shakeouts from Miss Maxine and still be like, oh, it's conspiracy theories. And this person, well, yeah, where else is the funding coming from? They're mostly crisis actors. You just do it all the time. And here's the point. At the end of the day, I don't know. Regardless of what anything, the Lord, is doing all this because, the ways of man are of the Lord. How can a man understand his own way? Paraphrasing. Apparently, the papers have reported the wife of the owner of TfL has been amongst the majority of the Insulate Britain and Extinction Rebellion protests causing mayhem to transport in London. So this does make sense. And TfL is I don't wanna. I know roughly where it is, but I don't wanna. TfL. What does it stand for? Transport for London. Well, there you go. It's,
Talk to me about how you feel and the impact.
let's see. And this person, I found this really interesting. 100%. They'll introduce new anti-protest laws and the public will beg for it. Then they'll mandate the Maxine and lock up anybody who protests against it. So, there's a few ideas of what's going on, and I wouldn't be surprised how any of this is playing out. But at the end of the day, you can see how it's all culminating to a big event. You get a little bit here and there and a little bit here and there. It's just getting worse and worse and worse, and a lot of people have their head in the sand and not realizing what's going on. And this is Proverbs 29:7. The righteous considereth the cause of the poor, but the wicked regardeth it not. So these people don't care about the fact that you have to go to work, or you have to travel somewhere and you need petrol. Number 8, scornful men bring a city into snare, but wise men turn away wrath. If a wise man contendeth with a foolish man, whether he rage or laugh, there is no rest. The bloodthirsty hate the upright, but the just seek his soul. So you saw them moving the protests, out the way, contesting with them, and all they did was just get back up and then go and sit there. It's pointless. But at the end of the day, I do really think this is part of their little, crisis thing or whatever, just to move people in the direction of them wanting to implement laws to stop protesters, and how and give new police powers to be able to stop protesters, because they're really gonna come down with the whole, Maxi. If you can't get Maxine, and you can't work, and you can't travel, and you can't do this and that, and people are gonna uproar over it. But these same people are gonna, and this is just conjecture. These same people, might vote into the very things that's stopping them from being able to protest against this. I mean, it's the same way they did Brexit. They told these people about Brexit, they voted for it, and then you had all these problems because of Brexit. Like, you got the AGV crisis because of Brexit, and because of Brexit, quote unquote, you're now having a fuel crisis because there's no, tanker drivers to deliver it. And then you even saw a tanker driver in one of the videos, and he wasn't able to get to where he was going, you know what I mean, because he was stopped. And I just found it real interesting how they conveniently, there was a tanker driver right there, and I hope, they were showing scenes of HGV drivers not being able to get to where they're going to. So, you know how Esau is. Mark 3:25, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but have an end. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. Verily I say unto you, all sins shall be forgiven unto the sons of men, and blasphemies wherewith soever they shall blaspheme. And even the Lord did this, when Israel was in the desert, and they got to the land. He didn't make the land for them straight away. He slowly ate it, because they would have been overtaken by beasts and so on and so forth. So the Lord slowly, made way for Israel, in the same way that he's slowly destroying his kingdom, from the inside. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but you can definitely see where this is all going. And a lot of people are just, when you speak to people have all these grand plans to have kids, to do this and to do that, and they don't actually see that this place, is on a precipitous decline, as the elders and big brothers like to say. 2 Thessalonians 2:4, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is power or that is worship, so that he as Yahweh sitteth in the temple of power, showing himself that he is power. So this man's controlling everything that's going on. He's controlling this, the pestilence, which is Maxine. He's controlling these people who are protesting against it. He's controlling the media that shows you what he wants to show you, and to warp your mind, and basically mold your mind to believe his version of events, so that you literally beg this man to come down and enforce whatever laws that he's making up behind closed doors. And people are going to be gagging for it, man. A lot of people are not going to be down for it, but at the end of the day, the people that are, they're gonna be drowned out. They're setting things up, they're having everything ready. And you even saw that little Edomite on the comment board, oh, conspiracy theorist, this and that. He's the same person when things get really bad. He's gonna realize there was a prophet among them, because he's probably, if he's not heard about it, he's definitely seen the videos. If he's not seen the videos, he's definitely heard about it. And everybody knows what's going on, but they don't wanna admit to what's going on around them. They'd rather just kind of stick their head in the ground until things really get bad. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Shem, Yahshua, double honors to the elders and apostles of Jesus, who will well, shalom, and to the elect.